Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Niels, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week, I am joined by Cinders.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone. And this week, we have one major thing in our news, and that is that we had the first borrower for Update 41. So borrower beta number 1 for Update 41, which is, I don't think they have a full name for the update yet, but they have several things all put together onto there. So right now, while there are several items coming in Update 41. This week, they really had two major things that they were testing out. One was the new crafting event, and the other one are some changes in monster play. So let's start out with the item for the new event, which is going to be called Hardtack of Thorns Hall Craft Event.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful, all right. Well, so would a hardtack be if you start eating it, I guess.
Right? And it's fitting since it is a prospecting and cooking.
That's right. And this is the second crafting event. And the new event is a community effort involving the professions of prospecting and cooking. Unlike the initial Forester event, the Hardtack of Thorns Hall event is cooperative. Additionally, it can be entered and completed by crafters and non-crafters alike. And the event occurs every hour with an access point in Thorns Gate outside of Thorns Hall. 5 minutes before the event begins, there should be a general broadcast in Everluine that the event is about to begin and players may enter the event space and take part. The event lasts for 20 minutes. And they also had some notes in here. The event rewards all players for participating in the event, provided they accept and partake in the quests associated with the event. Prospectors participate by speaking with the prospecting coordinator, accepting the main prospecting quest, and completing the various supplemental quests supporting the event. Cooks likewise speak with the cook coordinator, accept the main cook quest, and complete the various supplemental quests supporting the event. And any non-cook or non-prospector serves a support role in the event, delivering materials and keeping away hungry hobbits and sluggard miners. Actually, I don't think they call them hungry hobbits. I think they refer to them as annoying. I forgot what adjective they actually used for the hobbits, but it wasn't hungry hobbits. But they do go around being a rather nuisance, stealing your food. So I guess hungry hobbits would be a fitting informal description of what they are. And all right, so you've got them and sluggard miners who would otherwise disrupt the event. Participating as a non-related crafter rewards participation ribbons for each stage of effort you achieve in the event. The main quest for each participant, whether cook, prospector, or unaligned professions, requires the completion of several interdependent quests in the space. Cooks make food, decreasing induction times, increasing speed, and increasing the speed while carrying heavy items. Prospectors take great care to extract and haul the ever-burning ore to mine carts located throughout the space. Non-cooks and non-prospectors deliver extracted ore or collect and deliver foodstuffs to the cooks. And the event is open to anyone and everyone who is a novice in the game. Only prospectors can participate in the prospector main quest. Only cooks can participate in the cook's main quest. Anyone can participate in the assistant's main quest. Rewards are not available yet, but they will, however, closely resemble the rewards that are available in the Forester's event. And there were some known issues. Speed boosts are still functional in the space. Those will be removed at a later date. Yes, because we want to make sure all those are gone before before the event because we know how that creates all sorts of havoc. And all current food created in the event is using the induction reduced effect. This will be updated at a later date. And fishing in a space is not yet yielding the correct results. So they have to get all that fixed up for the next round. And when I was doing it, it didn't look like it was quite up to running on the schedule or anything like this because I didn't see any evidence of the timers being activated or anything like that. So I'm sure that's something that's going to be happening before, well, maybe, well, before it goes live, I would hope, because otherwise we're just going to have another troublesome thing that we had before there.
Yeah.
Now, I did try out the cooking side of it, and it looked like there weren't too many people there at the time. I think I only saw one other person there, and that person wasn't cooking. So I was in there. I was noticed that you have to you get these recipes that are for the particular event, and then you have to go into various points where you pick up the ingredients for what you're going to be cooking. And then you go to the oven, you cook it at the oven, then you have to interact with the oven to take it out of the oven. Then comes the tricky part. And that is you have to take it to a table. And there are two sets of tables in there. There's a table where you put meals, one where you put snacks, and one where you put drinks. And you have to get it there, and you have to get it there without running into one of those pesky hobbits. Because otherwise, they would just go and snatch away the food, and you have to go back and try again until you finally be able to get it. And I found that you have to, I think it's 5 in order to advance in it. In other words, once you deliver 5 food items, then you go to a stage of completion. Like the first time, you get a participant's ribbon. I think you get 10 participants' ribbons for the first time you complete 5. Then the second time you complete 5, you get 5 second place ribbons. Then the next time you get 2 first place ribbons. No, I think it's maybe 1 first place ribbon, and then the next 5 you get a second first place ribbon. I think it's something like this. I can't remember the exact numbers in here, but that gives you an idea on there. So the first time around you get participant, next time, so you got to do it 20 times, and I would presume in that 20-minute period in order to complete those in order to be able to do anything in there. I don't know how different players in the same space are interacting with each other. I get the impression they may both be trying to rush for the same resources, which might be why I saw some complaints about saying that it was 2 PvP and PvP in there. I don't know how true that is. To me, because I had absolutely no one else there, so all I was interacting with were those pesky hobbits. And that shows then the other side of it is, while they're okay, good news, there was no one else there cooking in there, so I didn't have to worry about anyone else trying to do that. But the bad news is there was no one controlling the pesky hobbits, because I suspect that the ones who aren't aligned with either of the prospectors or the cooks are, one of the things that they're doing is controlling the hobbits so that they're not all over the place, because they were just running wild all over the place, which made it very difficult. And I think I probably failed half the time in which I was attempting to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of the tricky thing. Right now, I am not exactly overly enthralled with it. We'll have to see on that. As I said, this is just the first round of it. I think they have a large number of chinks to smooth out on it before it is all done and ready to release.
Yeah. I was just reading through the feedback thread, and it sounds like some of those things that you've highlighted have been noticed by other people. So I think they'll fix some of them.
Yeah, so we'll have to see mm, how it goes on there. And there's the question of, all right, in order, is it a case where in order to do the fish, because that the meal has fish in it, one of those things, does that mean that the non-aligned ones, some of them will have to successfully fish and deposit the fish into the box so you can get it, and if they aren't any there, does that mean that no fish is going to be available or something like that? I don't know. As I said, there's still a great deal of more testing and development work to be done on there, so I think it'll be a while before that is ready to be set out on there. So that's the first thing that they had and that they were testing on there, were that particular item. It's the hardtack thing. The second thing that they had in there were some updates to Monster Play. A sapling grows in the Entmoors and glory seeking.
Yeah.
What?
I was
What
just
you?
reading. I was reading through it, and I think right now there's some frustration for creating new ways to, like, especially on the creep side, if you're showing up as like, come get me, I'm glory seeking, but the balance is still really not great. So
The
um
balance is not great.
yeah, it sounds like there's still quite a bit of the freeps being a little OP, and people are saying, why would you do that? They're just going to get zerged. But
Yeah,
I think the
it,
concept is good and it will bring new life to it. But I think people have a good point about balance. It's been a while since I've played Creepside because of the balance issues.
okay.
So,
So the creep side balance right now is so bad that even if there's a raid protecting the person with the arrow on them, they're still probably going to get slumped.
well, see, that's a good question. It probably depends on the server you're on and when you're on, right?
Yeah, you got a point there.
So some servers aren't real big on it, but like Arkenstone, I'm sure you'd get zerged regardless. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So let's learn more about that. I was just reading
Okay.
ahead through the feedback
Yeah.
thread.
All right. New quests were added to the game supporting the new Monster Play reward track offered by Faranil Egladreich for Free Peoples and by Keride at Gramsfoot. Two quests serve to introduce the new daily offerings available. The first is to find a peculiar item in the Entmoors. And the second is to seek advice from those who may know more. Once these introductory quests are completed, new daily quests from Farnia and Kinnaid open for the respective sides of the battle. These quests rotate daily and drive direct conflict across the Entmoors. In all, there are about 25 associated quests with the new offering. There are no restrictions to acquire the new quests aside from completing the tutorial experiences in the Entmoors for your respective side of the battle. The respective sides of the battle will work to cultivate or corrupt the little sapling in with the daily quests, and daily quest offering in this vein can be reset for 10 MC on the Monster Play side of the battle. I guess that's mithril coins.
Probably.
And yeah, when asked what is the secret of Orkkind, Akam responded, "To drive my enemy before me, to hear the lamentations of man children, and above all, to seek glory." That Uruk is somewhat depraved.
Oh, what?
Glory seeking is a new quest type available in the Entmoors. Up to 4 players on each side of the battle can choose to become glory seekers. Doing so marks their location on the map, places a gaudy VFX over their head so that they are noticeable in the battlefield, and increases their damage output by 20%. As they roam the indoors looking for big competition, they are rewarded for defeating the opposition by growing stronger with each few kills. Should they eliminate a large number of player opponents within 20 minutes time limit, they receive a buff to damage, renown, infamy gains, and a bonus to earned glory for an additional 30 minutes. As for known issues, the reward bonus for damage for glory seeking is not functioning correctly in all cases. Well, it better be working by the time they release it, or not too many people are going to try it, even if it does, even if they do address all the concerns that you've been talking about.
Yep. So, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I might have to try out Creepside again with Zablob.
Oh, it's Zablob. Sorry, when you first said that, I was thinking you're going to somehow bring your dog into the game.
My dog is named after my warg. So, Zablob and I might need to go nom on a few things and pee on a few things and see how it goes. So,
okay.
For
the glory of Angmar.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's go into some of the other changes that they have in here. For combat and monsters, rectangle and cone AoE effects in-game will now detect targets over significantly greater height differences than before. And this should allow area effects to operate more effectively when slopes, ramps, and stairs are involved. All right, thank you for that. For crafting, several crafting introduction quests have been revised dialogue to account for the removal of vocations. As for quests, deeds, and adventure areas, the objectives on the maps in Aaron Lasglin quest, the Torchemel Brood, are now easier to see. The letter that bestows the quest outfitting yourself and others will now show the correct text for Bjornings. The Mordor deed.
Said I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
Yeah. What was it saying before?
No idea.
Yes. The Mordor deed, Tales of Gorgoroth, has been revised to identify which quest players are required to complete in order to complete the deed. Resolved an issue with the Gunabad quest Searching for Gold, in which players would receive 2 gold nuggets and only get credit for 1. The banners in the Dol Amroth quest, Banners of Umbar, are now easier to click on.
That's good.
The objective, complete citizens of the Cape of Umbar in the Deeds of Cape Umbar meta deed, has now been corrected to read as complete quests of the Cape of Umbar. The completion requirements have not changed. Players will no longer be attacked by invisible corsairs while playing the Shield Isles quest, Theft Beyond Measure. The Storm Raven on the mailbox in Ehad, Nagalak, and Dunland will no longer cause players to go into combat. And the name of a quest in the Waste, Under the Watch of Narhost, has been corrected to Under the Watch of Karkost. As for instances and skirmishes, in order to prevent several gameplay issues, Cyans are being removed from all tiers of the instance of Zarazgar the Vile Apothecary. As for minions and delvings, the Elder Slade mission, The Hunting Grounds, now works correctly in a duo. And also note that the Hunting Grounds instance mission will be versioned on this update. The Gunabad mission, Sting Like a Grodbog instance, exit doors will now act correctly. The Gunabad mission, Unwelcome Guest instance, exit door will now operate correctly. And enemies now consistently spawn at the correct time in the Wildwood mission, Attack on Cot Fast, please. Thank you! And if you've ever done Attack on Cod Fast, I'm sure you understand why I am saying that.
Let's see, I did that with you, and I remember being all ready to run in. You were like, "Wait for it. You gotta wait. Just stand there and wait." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. As for items and rewards, legendary items now indicate if they are ready to be reforged in the examination tooltip.
Good.
Thank you. And if you have completed the Abyss of Mordoth Tier 2, fragments of the Abyss crafting components are once again available for barter at the Gorgoroth crafting vendor or at the Master of Mordor lore Gorgoroth rewards vendor. As for localization, adjusted the layout of the class trait screen to fix an issue where the German description of the lore master traits would be cut off at the bottom of the screen. And they also fixed a text wrapping issue on several locations with the virtue trait screen on the quest screen and on the crafting recipe screen. And miscellaneous updates, the fleet captain barterer in Darlaja, the meeting hall, now shows the barterer map note. And voiceover for the Kindred in the last step of the new quest for the Ketev storyline now plays correctly. An old Ballman at the Combe Lumber Camp now shows a map note that he is a barterer. And that is the list of updates that they have so far in this first round. They are still hoping to get some more of the updates in there because there are at least 2 other significant changes that they plan to be adding for update 41 that they're hoping to get either into the next or the beta after that. So an upcoming beta. One of those is the bird watching hobby, and the other one that they are working on, oh yes, the 4th profession, and I think they're trying to get that into this update also. We'll have to see.
Yeah. And also reading through the notes from Orion, it sounds like there might be some class changes for lore masters to be added as well.
Yes, I decided not to talk about those yet because we'll get plenty of
we will get plenty of those, but that's the other thing in there.
Yeah, that's right. They are applying some significant changes on the lore master in there, so we'll see how that works.
Yep.
And I think a lot of them are going to be happening in the blue line, which is the line in which I'm currently in. So we'll see what they do to the blue line.
Okay, hopefully they're good changes.
Yeah. Usually there's at least one change you're going, ah! That changes everything I do.
Like when they took away the zoo.
Yeah, when they took away the zoo. Well, I can understand why they took away the zoo. And besides, Murder Crows is a really nice.
Yeah, but the zoo was cool.
But unfortunately, lag-inducing.
Okay, let's just be real though. Is there anything in game that's not lag-inducing? Like, the lag is real.
Well, okay, you got a point there. Then let's see what's on sale in the store this week, and I suspect it's not any insta lag removal.
No insta lag removal, although I'm sure if they created that and sold it, they would make quite a bit of money, especially if it was effective.
If it's effective, yes.
So for store sales this week, summer sales continue, and you can get special deals each week through July 11th. This week, it is some of my favorite 25% off crafting carryalls, 50% off tracery and essence carryalls, and 75% off junk item and war spoils carryalls through June 20th. You can also make your piece of Middle Earth shine and get 25% off of select housing decorations, housing sets, and cloaks through June 20th. The weekly coupon, which is also good through June 20th, is for a free universal ingredient pack, and the coupon code is CRAFTIT. CRAFTIT.
One universal ingredient pack. Yeah. Yes. I don't know what that will just craft all by itself, but okay.
I mean, some of us have a collection of them for when we need them. So, yes, it'll just add to that.
All right. Then let's head into our Let's into our community news, and it looks like that we had an anniversary last week. And what was that all about?
So last Sunday, June 9th, was the 17th anniversary and the annual Pride Parade for the Knights of the White Lady Kinship. And they started at the South Bree Gate and wound their way through to North Bree with several stops for music, including at the Prancing Pony stage. And after speaking with their kin leader, they wanted us to share that the Knights of the White Lady has existed as a kinship since Beta, and it is the oldest LGBTQIA plus kinship, and every year they celebrate their anniversary and pride with a parade on Landerval in June. And to contact them, you can go to their webpage at kwl.guildlaunch.com. And we'll have some pictures from the parade posted for your enjoyment when this goes live in WordPress, so on the LOTRO Players website.
But they've been around since betas, and they're one of the oldest kinships, period.
I do believe that is true. So, yeah.
And let's head into our weekend gaming. Cinders, what were you up to?
Well, I kicked off my week by attending the Knights of the White Lady Parade on Landerval with Sans, Guer, and Luanori. And so I know Guer's been on the podcast with us as one of the podcast team members, and I think, have we had Luanori on before? I think we might have had him as a guest. But annually we go to support the Knights of the White Lady Parade. It's always a good time, and so we did that, and that was a lot of fun. This year we got to see, and I loved, there was a group performing at the Prancing Pony stage when the parade got there, and they were all wearing Shire Plum outfits, and I'm trying to remember, I should have written it down because it's been a long week, but it was like they were playing for Unicornitopia, I think is what it was, and all their outfits were Shire Plum, and their group name had to do with unicorns, and it just made me so happy. And so they took a break in their set to listen to the folks from who were performing for the Knights of the White Lady, and to sing and dance with us. And so at one point there was an entire section of 12 individuals, including the folks from Knights of the White Lady, who were all dressed in Shire Plum and standing next to each other. So I have some pictures of that too, because it just made me so happy. But then after that, I played lots of Ark Survival Ascended with Sans, which is the newest version. So you had Ark Survival Evolved, and now we have Ark Survival Ascended. Some of the things they've introduced this time are some baby dinos. So you'll have the adult dinos tailed by a baby dino that you can just imprint when the older dino is either deceased or tamed. We discovered a problem with some disappearing poo, and then we had to figure out how to stop the disappearing so that we could actually collect the poo to turn it into fertilizer to grow the narco berries we needed to be able to tame dinosaurs without just bludgeoning them to unconsciousness.
And now, concerning this, I know you talked about, you have these adult dinos leading baby dinos. Do they also sometimes being able to find nests of dinos where you have the eggs, unhatched eggs, or is that not a thing?
So that is a thing, but I believe that's really only a thing for like wyverns. So it used to be in Survival Evolved, you would occasionally find the egg, and if you stole the egg, the dinosaur would get really mad at you and chase you. We've not seen any actual eggs in the game yet. I'll be honest, we've mostly just been trying to stay alive and taming what we've run across, and we've not gone very far. So, I mean, we haven't even gotten to metal yet, and we've been working on this since last Sunday. So we're still trying to find a location with metal to be able to get the tranquilizer darts and things like that. So, I know that wyverns always have eggs, and you can steal those with the moths, because they can slow the wyverns down so they don't destroy you immediately. And then I would imagine that you can still get eggs, and then you should also still be able to breed dinosaurs like you used to be able to. But now there are baby dinos, so you don't have to breed them to get baby dinos. You can actually just pick them up on landscape. I don't know if that answers your question or not. And
Oh,
then
okay.
earlier this morning, we were almost devoured by one of the new dinosaurs. It looks kind of like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it is not a T Rex, and it is much faster. And Sans freaked out and had to save me and her because it knocked us both off the roof of the house. And so she had to get us back inside and then had to kill it by herself because I was away from my keyboard. And yeah, so it's been one wild ride.
I could imagine.
So far, we've only lost 2 baby dinosaurs. One starved to death because we didn't realize how fast they were going to go through food. And then the other one got killed by another dinosaur while Sans was trying to walk it to keep it happy. So, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. And then, go ahead.
Considering how fast the dinosaurs grow, yeah, I have feeling they have to eat a great deal.
Yeah. So we had put a full stack. Well, so Sans has the world set up, so it has doubled stacks of like meat. So instead of having 40 meat in a stack, it can have 80 meat in a stack, right? So we'd put 80 meat in this little saber-tooth cubs inventory, and it had died before we had made another kill to be able to put more in it. And it was like less than an hour later, it had died. And we were trying to get stuff to feed it, and we just couldn't, and it was unbelievable.
That sounds rather excessive. I mean,
so Sans went in and adjusted the amount of food that they eat and cut it in half, so they're eating significantly less, which has made it so we can keep the rest of them alive.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they just plowed through it. And then I played a little bit of Dinkum yesterday to show one of my real life friends the game. Because I was kind of trying to explain it to her, and she's like, "What? What's a jackaroo?" And so I got into the game to show her, and she loved it. She goes, "That's so funny." She's like, "Wait, you have a jet ski? Wait, you have a motorcycle? And you can teleport?" Yeah, I showed her how you get Warimu eggs, and we had a good time. But that was my week in gaming. It has been kind of played around the edges of getting my classroom all packed up and ready to move. And so school's out for summer, and we are ready to play like crazy people all summer long. Pine Leaf, how was your week?
All right, I'll begin with my lore master who escaped from Isengard.
Oh, yay.
Okay. And then in the Friday Mariner crew, we finally escaped from Moria because we had been in Moria for I can't remember how many months in there, but we're ready to leave Moria, and we are going to be heading into Mirkwood next time.
Ooh.
And then in Minecraft, I started a new 1.21 world where I actually found a zombie spawner on day 2.
Yikes.
And in fact, I found that zombie spawner before I had decided on where I was going to put my starter base.
Oh my.
Because at first I was thinking that I would put the starter base next to the cherry grove. You know, that sounds like a good place to it. But then I was going around, let's see if I could find a place closer to water or something like this. So I eventually went there. So I said, oh, here's a cave. Because caves always look like nice places for starter bases in there. And it turned out that, yes, there was a zombie spawner inside of said cave. So it was actually a zombie spawner, I think, like might have been above level 64 on there, which is very rare that you run into spawners above level 64. But so that was interesting there. Ran to very quickly. Now I got to decide, okay, what am I going to do? But I think I'm actually going to set up my base right next to the zombie spawn. Well, not close enough to it that zombies will be attacking me inside the base. But I mean,
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to try to have that at a reasonably close area on there because I thought that's a nice place for me to set up shop, and I could use that as my center of operations for when I start looking for a village. Because right now, I don't have a bed yet. I haven't seen a single sheep yet.
Oh my.
Yeah, I haven't seen any sheep yet. I haven't seen any villages yet, and my plans. I do want to find a village because I'm going to be looking for a trial chamber, and that's going to probably best if I find a village, a cartographer, so that I could be able to hunt for that.
Yeah.
We have to see.
That makes sense.
But
I was reading about it today, the
yeah,
1.21 world, because we are planning to start a new server for all of us who want to play. So,
okay.
yep. And then
So
I had to download the game.
yeah. All right. Well, that is it for my week in gaming.
Yay! You had a busy week too.
Yeah. If you'd like to send us an email, you could send it to podcast@loachplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We record Loach Players News and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You can choose for our shows at loachplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight then. This is Pipe Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.